Okay, so this is the review for our topic 2 test. First bit, pretty nice. Remember when we just did actual patterns? The key to understanding those patterns is finding the key, is finding the main part that gets repeated. A lot of times, say it out loud to yourself. And if you do it quietly, you can still hear yourself and not disturb others. If it's only pointing one way, I just say side up, up, side up, up. Or I could say right up, up, right up, up. Notice how I'm saying something and I'm hearing that rhythm is happening. I'm going to box it out. Right up, up is my repeating part. So then I keep saying it so that I hear that rhythm. Right up, up, right up, up, right up, up, right up, up. But it says draw the next 3 shapes. So I have to make sure I put that right in there too. And another thing that can help you out is when you obviously read the instructions first, you go, oh, so it wants the next 3. So 1, 2, 3. I set myself up so that I don't forget. Because that way I know I have to fill in those blanks. Now I can start looking at my pattern. 3, 5, 7, 9. 3, 5, 7, 9. All right, I can hear it. Can you hear it? Yeah. 3, 5, 7, 9 is my key. That's what's getting repeated. So 3, 5, 7, 9. 3, 5, 7, 9. 3, 5, 7, 9. 3, 5. Okay? So by saying it the same way and using the same sound that you make for each one can really make a difference in how you hear it and how it helps you. The next thing that we were working on was rules, finding the pattern by the rule. Up here, these numbers, there's no multiplying, there's no adding, there's no subtracting. It's just the order that the numbers are written in. Down here is actually using a rule to make that number pattern. So skip counting a lot of times. So if I'm looking here, again, it says, check that your rule works with all the given numbers, write a rule and continue the pattern. So I can see that there's like commas here. So I need this, this, and this. So I need to have 3 more added. I'm gonna help myself out and just underline it so I can see it better. So the first thing I ask myself is, how did I get from one number to the next? How did I get from 5 to 7?
Plus 2.
Okay, so 5 plus 2 is 7, right? Is 7 plus 2 9?
Yes.
Yes. So already I can tell that's my rule. So off to the side, I'm going to write R equals plus 2 so that I don't forget. What's 9 plus 2?
11.
What's 11 plus 2?
13.
What's 13 plus 2?
15.
Very nice. Okay, again, ooh, what's the first thing I notice before I even start looking at numbers? What do I notice about these numbers? They're going down and they're decreasing in their value. So already I know that my rule is going to be subtraction. I can also tell it's subtraction because the numbers are just getting a little bit smaller. They're not being divided, because if they were being divided, they would be getting a lot smaller. So how did I get from 22 to 18? Okay, so if I subtracted 4, how did I get from 18 to 14?
Minus 4.
It's also minus 4. So I can already tell that my rule is going to be subtracting 4. What's 14 minus 4?
10.
What's 10 minus 4?
6.
What's 6 minus 4?
2.
Very nice. No big deal, right?
Yep.
So far, so good. All right, this is the same concept, except it's just written a little bit differently. We need to find the rule, and we need to complete each table. So if there's a blank space, we got to fill in that blank space, but we can't do that until we know what the actual rule is. My rule is always, how did this box become this box? Not, how did this box become that box? Okay, we always go from the left to the right. So how did 3 become a 12?
Plus 9.
Okay, it's plus 9. That's one thing I can try. What's another thing I could try?
Times 4.
Times 4. Okay, so is 5 plus 9 14?
Yes.
Yeah. Is 5 times 4 14?
No.
No. So the plus 9 has been working so far. The times 4 has not. I'm still going to check just to make sure. Is 8 plus 9 17?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is 8 times 4 17?
No.
No. So this right here is what happens to the person who is Speedy Gonzalez, who doesn't want to keep checking, because they did this for a reason. They made this 3 and the 12 here first because your brain will instantly go, oh, 3 times 4 is 12. And then you'd start making that mistake and you wouldn't check anything down here and you would go, okay, well, 12 times 4. Nope, now you're wrong. Now you've made a mistake. So I'm glad that we checked to make sure that each one of these is plus 9. So my rule is plus 9. With that being said, what's 12 plus 9?
21.
Okay, looking on to this next one. I'm looking at my table, earned and spent. I can see what's happening from 22 to 5. That is decreasing in value. So I know I'm subtracting there. And 34 to 17 is also decreasing in value. So I know I'm subtracting. But what is happening? I'm not dividing. I can tell I'm not dividing because these are not multiples of each other. So how did I get from 22 to 5? Minus subtracting 17, yeah? Okay, so let's check. Is 34 minus 17 17?
Yes.
So that means that's a doubles fact there. That's 17 plus 17 is 34. What about 21 plus 17? 21 plus 17 is what's 21 plus 17? I'm hearing people saying no, so we're going to work it out. 7 plus 1 is 8. 2 plus 1 is 3. 45 minus 17. That's one you might need to work out in your head or on paper, and that's okay. 45 minus 17. Because I have to redistribute, that 4 becomes a 3, that 5 becomes a 15. What's 15 minus 7?
15 minus 7 plus 8.
And what's 3 minus 1?
2.
So 45 is 28. So my rule is subtracting 17. Okay, what about down here? 1 to 6. Well, automatically, if I'm giving a table and I'm given a 1, that usually is my key right then and there. But that doesn't mean I'm just going to go and run with it. That means I'm going to still check it. But if I see a 1 and a 6, that usually tells me that's my rule. 1 times 6 is 6. Or I could say 1 plus 5. But let's look at 2. Is 2 times 6 12? Yes. Is 3 times 6 18?
Yes.
Is 4, so I can tell my rule is times 6. That 1 is definitely a helper. What's 4 times 6? 24. Okay, so I'm looking down here. I've got another earned and saved, so I can see that the numbers are smaller on the bottom. So that means I'm either dividing or I'm subtracting. How did I get from a 12 to a 4?
Well, you could
Okay,
do
so I'm subtracting 8 or I am dividing by 3. What are my other options here? So 18 and 6.
That's also divided by
Is 18 minus 8 6?
No.
Is 18 divided by 3 6? So far the divided by 3 has worked. Let's check it one more time. Is 30 minus 8 10? No. Is 30 divided by 3 10?
Yes.
Yes, so my rule is divide by 3. That means 24 divided by 3 is,
8.
so $8 were saved. Okay, let's go on to the back. All right, this is when I've been given my cubes. And the cubes are awesome because I can literally, if I need to, can count them. And when I've got my regular blocks here that just get stacked up, I know right off the bat that is multiplication. There is no doubt because it's just adding the same amount each time. Remember though, if I have a staircase or just some weird, like a pyramid thing, all of those are not multiplication. Those are going to be adding. Okay, and it usually takes a little bit of drawing out to figure it out. But luckily for us, these two are all the same. So I don't even need the picture. I have a 1 right here. That's my key. 1 has 4. So my rule here is going to be, I'm pretty confident it's times 4. Especially because I know the same amount of blocks get added, because the picture can help me out. That means 2 times 4, yes, is 8. What's 3 times 4? What's 4 times 4?
16.
There we go. Now I'm looking here. These pictures help me to understand that this is definitely going to be multiplication, because the same amount is being added. I'm not getting a staircase. I'm not getting half of it. And then I've also got this. There's my rule, 1 and 6. So my rule is times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. What's 4 times 6?
24.
What's 5 times 6?
30.
30. Cool stuff. Okay, now let's look at the last one down here. This was the most recent lesson. This is the one where the math part's not so hard, but setting it up and keeping focused and on track with it is where you can get a little jumbled up. Ben's sticker collection. 3 kinds of stickers with 17 stickers in all. 6 star stickers, okay? So star equals 6. 3 fewer smiley face stickers than planet stickers. Okay, well, so I'm just gonna draw a smiley face and then the planet. I don't have numbers for that though. But I do know that in all, they equal 17. So what do I do first?
Subtract
17
to 6.
minus 6, which is
11.
11. And then I break them apart. I just turn them into all my options. I don't even look at my next clue yet because I don't want to make a mistake of jumping ahead and making assumptions and getting it wrong. So 11 is 10 and 1. 11 is 9 and 2. 11 is 8 and 3. 11 is 7 and 4. 11 is 6 and 5. Now I need to look. 3 fewer smiley face than planet. So that means, is 10 minus 3 1? No. Is 9 minus 3 2? No. Is 8 minus 3 3?
Nope.
No. Is 7 minus 3 4?
Yeah.
Yes. And then, now that I know my numbers, I go back to my clue again to make sure. 3 fewer smiley. So it means smiley is less. So smiley is 4 and planet is 7. Okay? That's where it can get me. That's where I can get into the trouble right there. Is just assuming I've got my numbers. All the numbers are correct, but are they in the correct place? That's what's important. Okay, so now what you do, you are going to do the practice test right now, and then we'll check it together in class. Your homework is this piece. This is what you're doing tonight. And please remember, it has 2, 2, 2, 4. It tells you what lesson each question is from. So if you notice on this practice test that we do together in class, again, 2, 2, 2, 5, 2, 4. If you notice that you got a certain amount of a 2, 6 wrong or 2, 5 wrong, maybe that's when you need to go back and watch the video for or study a bit more for, okay? It's a good way to help keep yourself on track with things, all right?